How happy do you want to be? Your life will rise to the level you settle for.
Imagine losing everything. No roof over your head, no safety, no certainty about your next meal.
I came in this world by myself, and when I die, I'm going to be the only one in that coffin.
For most, it's a nightmare they pray never to face.
You ended up in a homeless shelter at some point.
Yeah, I was.
But for some, that rock bottom became the foundation of an extraordinary rise to the top.
And the Oscar goes to Halle Berry in Monsters Ball.
In today's video, we'll uncover the remarkable journeys of homeless people who turned their lives around to become rich and famous.
Things are going great, then all of a sudden, something happens.
Their stories will inspire you and prove that no matter how dark the night, a brighter dawn can always come. This is Homeless People Who Became Rich and Famous, Part 1. Have you ever imagined James Bond sleeping on park benches? Hard to believe, but that was once Daniel Craig's reality. Long before the world knew him as the suave 007, Craig faced the harshness of homelessness in London. In the early 1990s, fresh out of drama school, Craig struggled to make ends meet. With no steady income, he often found himself sleeping on friends' couches or park benches. The uncertainty and rejection nearly broke him, but he never stopped believing in his craft. His turning point came when he landed a role in the play Angels in America at the National Theater. That performance caught the attention of casting directors, eventually leading to roles in films like Layer Cake, a stepping stone to his iconic role as James Bond.
The name's Bond. James Bond.
Craig's gritty determination turned rock bottom into a launch pad. But Daniel isn't the only star who started with nothing. Up next, we'll uncover the incredible journey of a Bronx-born dreamer who danced her way out of poverty to become a global sensation. What would you do if chasing your dreams meant leaving everything behind, even a place to call home? That's exactly what Jennifer Lopez did. At just 18, Lopez found herself at odds with her family. They wanted her to go to college, but Jennifer's heart was set on becoming a dancer. Determined to pursue her passion, she moved out and spent nights sleeping on the floor of her dance studio. Homeless but undeterred, Lopez juggled grueling dance auditions and side gigs to survive. Her big break came when she earned a spot as a fly girl dancer on the hit TV show In Living Color. From there, her career skyrocketed, starring roles in films like Selena and a music empire that transformed her into the J.Lo we know today. But Jennifer isn't the only one who found her way from homelessness to fame. Up next, we'll meet a young woman who turned her pain into poetry, writing songs in her car. Her story will leave you inspired. Can you imagine writing songs in the backseat of your car while it's your only shelter? That was Jewel's reality before she became a music icon. In her late teens, Jewel found herself homeless after refusing to sleep with a boss who then withheld her paycheck. Unable to afford rent, she lived in her car, battling hunger and illness. But even in those desperate times, Jewel clung to her guitar, writing heartfelt songs that reflected her struggles. Her turning point came when she was discovered performing at a local coffee house. Her raw talent and emotional lyrics led to a record deal, and her debut album, Pieces of You, became one of the best-selling albums of all time.
Failed to notice, case you failed to see.
Hits like Who Will Save Your Soul and You Were Meant for Me made her a star, turning her struggles into a story of triumph. Next, we'll dive into the life of an aspiring actress who once slept in a homeless shelter and went on to win an Oscar.
And the Oscar goes to Halle Berry in Monsters Ball.
What would you do if following your dreams meant losing the roof over your head? That's a choice Halle Berry had to face. In the early days of her career, Halle moved to New York City to pursue acting. But when she ran out of money, her mother refused to send more, wanting Halle to learn independence. With no other options, she found herself living in a homeless shelter.
You ended up in a homeless shelter at some point.
Yeah, I was.
The experience tested her resilience, but it also strengthened her determination to succeed. Her turning point came when she landed a role in the TV series Living Dolls, which opened the door to bigger opportunities. From Boomerang to her Oscar-winning performance in Monsters Ball.
This is the first Oscar for Halle Berry.
Halle's talent and perseverance turned her into a Hollywood icon. Up next, we'll uncover the surprising story of a sci-fi legend, William Shatner, who once lived in a truck. His journey is one you won't want to miss.
Living in a car after Star Trek?
The back of a camper on a truck. Yeah, well, it was, Star Trek had been canceled, so was my marriage, and so I didn't have any money.
Can you imagine Captain Kirk sleeping in a truck? For William Shatner, the iconic star of Star Trek, this was once a reality. In the 1970s, after the original Star Trek series ended, Shatner faced financial struggles. Divorced and with 3 children to support, he lost his home and lived out of a pickup truck, taking odd acting jobs to stay afloat. Despite the fame Star Trek had brought him, he found himself barely scraping by. The turning point came when the Star Trek franchise was revived through conventions and films, allowing Shatner to reconnect with his fans and rebuild his career. From there, he cemented his legacy not just as an actor, but as an author, musician, and pop culture icon. Up next is Kelly Clarkson, and we'll explore how a small-town girl rose to stardom after facing her own challenges. What would you do if your apartment burned down, leaving you with nowhere to go? That's the situation Kelly Clarkson found herself in before her rise to fame. In 2002, after moving to Los Angeles to pursue a music career, Clarkson faced a devastating setback when her apartment was destroyed in a fire. With no money to secure a new place, she was forced to live out of her car while taking odd jobs to survive. The turning point came when she returned to Texas and auditioned for the first season of American Idol. Her incredible voice and determination won over the judges and audiences alike, catapulting her to victory. From her debut single, A Moment Like This, to her Grammy-winning career, Clarkson proved that resilience could turn even the darkest times into stepping stones to success. Up next, we'll dive into the story of a creative visionary, Tyler Perry, who transformed his own struggles into a media empire.
Things are going great, then all of a sudden, something happens.
How do you keep believing in your dream when you have nowhere to sleep? That's the question Tyler Perry had to face. In the early 1990s, Perry was struggling to make it as a playwright.
Studio, I built it in a neighborhood that is one of the poorest black neighborhoods in Atlanta, so the young black kids can see that a black man did that and they can do it too.
After pouring his savings into his first production, it flopped, leaving him broke and homeless in Atlanta. For months, he lived in his car, grappling with self-doubt and uncertainty about his future. Despite the hardships, he continued rewriting and promoting his plays. His big break came when his play I Know I've Been Changed finally connected with audiences in 1998, launching his career as a playwright and producer. From there, Perry built an entertainment empire, creating the beloved Madea franchise and becoming a billionaire mogul with his own production studio. His story proves that resilience and faith can turn dreams into reality. However, Perry isn't the only one who turned immense challenges into extraordinary success. Up next, we'll explore how Oprah Winfrey overcame incredible odds to become one of the most influential figures in the world.
Your legacy is every life you've touched.
Can you imagine becoming one of the most powerful people in the world after facing homelessness as a teenager? That's exactly what Oprah Winfrey did. As a young girl, Oprah endured an unstable childhood, bouncing between caregivers and dealing with poverty. At one point, she ran away from home to escape abuse, ending up in a juvenile detention center. When no bed was available, she was left homeless, struggling to find a safe place to stay. The turning point came when Oprah moved to live with her father in Tennessee. He provided the stability and support she needed to focus on her education and passion for public speaking. That focus led to a career in broadcasting, eventually launching The Oprah Winfrey Show, which made her a global icon and the first black female billionaire.
Hi, everybody!
But Oprah isn't the only one who turned adversity into triumph. Up next, we'll delve into the story of a comedian who once lived in a van and used laughter to create a legendary career. What would you do if your family lost everything and your home became a van? That's the situation Jim Carrey faced as a teenager. When his father lost his job, the Carrey family was forced to live in a van, parking wherever they could find safety. Jim dropped out of high school to help support his family, taking jobs as a janitor and factory worker.
Did when we were doing this job that we didn't like.
The janitor job.
Yeah, the janitor job.
And you
which
had
was amazing, by the way.
The challenges of homelessness and financial instability were immense, but Jim refused to let them define him. His turning point came when he took a leap of faith, moving to Los Angeles to pursue comedy. His hard work and unmatched comedic talent eventually led to iconic roles in films like Ace Ventura, Pet Detective and The Mask, making him one of Hollywood's biggest stars. Carrey's journey from homelessness to superstardom is a testament to resilience and belief in one's abilities. Up next, we'll dive into the life of a man who turned his unique approach to psychology into a media empire. His name, Dr. Phil. Stay tuned. Would you believe that one of America's most famous TV psychologists once lived in a car with his father? That's the surprising beginning of Dr. Phil McGraw's story. In the late 1960s, after Phil's father decided to pursue his dream of becoming a psychologist, the family faced financial instability. For a time, they lived in their car while his father worked on building a private practice. It was a challenging period, but Phil's family's determination inspired him to aim high and push through adversity. The turning point in Dr. Phil's life came when he earned a football scholarship to the University of Tulsa. This opportunity allowed him to pursue higher education, eventually earning a doctorate in psychology. His big break came when Oprah Winfrey featured him on her show, catapulting him to fame and leading to the creation of his own long-running series.
The difference between winners and losers is winners do things losers don't want to do.
Dr. Phil. Today, his name is synonymous with practical advice and self-help, proving that tough times can be the foundation for greatness. Dr. Phil's story shows how resilience and education can change lives, but it's far from the last inspiring tale. Stay tuned for more incredible journeys of those who rose from nothing to achieve extraordinary success. The paths of these extraordinary individuals remind us that success doesn't always come from privilege. It's forged in perseverance, vision, and unrelenting faith in the face of adversity. Which story inspired you the most? Share your thoughts in the comments below. If you want to hear more uplifting stories of resilience, be sure to like, subscribe, and stay tuned for part 2 of homeless people who became rich and famous. Remember, every setback can be a setup for a comeback. See you next time.